We'll let them. I think that's part of their screen. Today and here's representing. That's you on top. So you're in the meeting and you're in pictures here, so you're present.
Mr. Lynn, if you can mute your mic until your docket is called, please.
So I'm sorry.
Thank you. Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Okay, we can proceed. Next slide, please.
Okay, we're ready to go?
We are ready.
Okay, in compliance with notification requirements of Ohio's open meeting law in section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting has an opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select the unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Call-in users can unmute by using *6.
Next screen.
All meeting activities being recorded by the way of the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed by way of YouTube. All requests to speak on a particular matter by way of our website and email have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Hey, Ms. Aston?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Patricia McGinty, asking on behalf of the City of Cleveland Law Department for the departments, building and housing, fire, et cetera. We could verify live stream?
Verify, yep.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, as we do at every hearing since the beginning of the pandemic, we do object to the use of the chat functions based upon the rules promulgated by the House Supreme Court. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Davis?
Mr. Bradley?
Here.
Mr. Maschke?
Here.
Mr. Dink?
Here.
Mr. Gallagher?
Here.
We have a quorum. Next
Okay.
slide.
Mr. Chairman, preliminarily, this is Tom Vanover, Chief Building Official with the City of Cleveland. I will be leaving at 10:15, and Glenn Murray will be substituting for me at that time.
Okay,
So
thank you, Mr. Vanover.
and that, as to not interrupt the proceedings, I will. I wanted to make that announcement.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll call the first docket, building docket A 21322, 9212 Madison Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is hazardous conditions issued on November 16th of 2022. Appeal received December 14th of 2022. Requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Patricia Aston Law. Would the appellate or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record?
Robert Levine.
Okay, all those giving testimony, Mr. Levine, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, Ms. Lazar, this is you were representing here on this case, is that correct?
Next slide, please.
Good morning, Chair Gallagher. Yes, I am representing the Ward 15 Council Office.
Okay, do you wish to speak in the beginning or at the end?
I can speak at the end. Thank you.
Okay, all right, Mr. Levine.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, this is Patty. Preliminarily, they did make a partial objection and the city did file its brief on April 20th with this board. Just in case, I don't know if there's going to continue to be an objection as to the portion. If there is, the city does have the first administrative burden to prove that that exists. So I would defer to Mr. Levine based upon the city's brief. Are you still objecting?
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, the city does have to preliminarily prove its case. We did file our brief. We do have Mr. Vanover present to testify as to the matters. I believe what is under objection is to the rear, quote unquote, rear fire escape steps from their appeal statement. They appealed as to the scope of the work. We did provide photographs, including, I see they're up there, the color photographs, that are attached as well to the city's brief. So I would defer to Mr. Vanover based upon the remaining testimony evidence that is presented and the underlying brief that we filed. The city would ask at the conclusion that you uphold the notices properly issued, including that portion that is under objection. Thank you.
Did he swear to me?
He swore in the attorney. I don't know if he swore in the, Mr. Chairman, to anyone else who's going to give testimony, I would ask that they identify if they are going to be giving testimony separate from the attorney. They do have to be sworn in.
Okay, whoever's going to give testimony in this case, state your name.
Heather Lazar.
Okay,
She was-
okay,
Is there anyone
Well-
else on behalf of on behalf of the appellant? Mr. Vanover and the ward person were sworn in.
okay. So, well, okay. Ms. Lazar will just have you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay,
So,
and I
Ms.
think you were the only other one? So someone else?
That's to the attorney. Do you have anyone else besides yourself to give testimony?
I do not.
Okay, that must have been someone else maybe talking in the background. That could have been. Okay, so everyone else, except those that are giving testimony, mute yourself, please. And we're going to hear from Mr. Vanover. Yes, from Mr. Vanover as far as what the objection is.
So, Mr. Chairman, this is based on the photographs presented and the inspection, the notice of violation. There's deterioration of the rear stair and the bricks throughout the building. I think that the evidence is clear. I'm not sure what is being objected to specifically. There's spindles missing, and on the railing, deterioration of the brick, the wood fire escape or the wood stairs in the back are show signs of deterioration and decay that need to be mitigated. There's loose and missing members on the stair, and that's really it. I think the evidence before us identifies, you know, the condition of the stairs that have been added to this porch in the back are, you know, non-compliant, and then just general deterioration of the structure and the egress components.
Mr. Levine, you care to
Yes.
comment?
So, we have submitted, well, first of all, we submitted a letter from Paul Began, for our architectural design stating that he is, in the process of getting plans together for the front of the building as well as the rear. We do have contractor, quotes, very explicit, that state what is going to be done to the back steps in order to make them 100% sound. The issue was weather, and now that we're in the spring, these things are going to be done. Also, as far as the front of the building is concerned, we have an insurance claim that we're also working through. So between the weather, the insurance claim, and everything else, we're just asking for a little bit of time to get these things done. And I did submit to Ms. Bowen the letter from Paul Began, addressed to Mr. Vanover and the board in regards to the fact that they are working on plans to get submitted to the city. And I did also submit our contractor bid for the rear fire escape.
Okay, so you
Mr.
are.
Chairman. Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
so preliminarily, based on appellant's testimony that they've engaged a design professional to submit plans for the corrections for the front and the rear of the building, I would ask that I restate my question of, if plans are being submitted to correct these issues, what issues are being objected to in the violation notice? Typically there's not a design professional engaged to design corrections to things that don't need to be corrected.
We were objecting to, the violation was to replace the entire fire escape area, and we are objecting to that we can do repairs to make them structurally sound. And as far as the front is concerned, the reason why it hasn't been done is because of the weather issue.
Mr. Chairman, the violation notice doesn't say that.
In other words, what you're saying is that it doesn't tell them how to abate the violation. It doesn't say they have to redo the entire stairs. It just says they have to abate the violation that exists. So really, Mr. Levine, it sounds like you're going to take action to do that. So there really isn't any objection to making these repairs.
The conversation that I had with the inspector, he did make it seem to me like they wanted the whole fire escape to be taken down and rebuilt. So that's why we filed the appeal.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I wasn't party to that conversation. That is atypical to a conversation that the inspector would typically grant an opinion to. So knowing that there's a design professional to make that assessment, you know, that's the path forward, is that a design professional be engaged to make a determination. Regarding, I understand there's an ask for more time. So we would ask that you find the violation notice as issued to be issued properly, and that the conditions do exist. On the matter of granting more time, I will state this is an investment property. It's a large apartment building, and these repairs and this maintenance should have been conducted before the city got involved. We should not have had to tell a commercial property owner to maintain their property. And regarding the weather, I recognize that we have winter in Cleveland. This building was in Cleveland when it was purchased and has been in Cleveland since the entire time it was owned by this owner and every other owner. We build stadiums in Cleveland in the wintertime. So there's plenty of construction has happened all winter. There's an expectation for commercial property to be maintained. And I recognize that the weather makes it take longer and cost more, but the reality is it's still the responsibility. So I would ask that any recommendation or any granting of more time be limited because this is truly work that should have already taken place before it got to the point where the city had to dedicate resources to inspect it, to cite it, and then to even be involved in this hearing.
All right, do you want to respond to that, Mr. Levine, or just have us rule on this?
I mean, I don't have much of a response to that. We do the best we can to manage properties in a safe manner. We've had a lot of things going on at that property where we've had to remove a lot of illegal activity. I know this probably is out of the scope of this meeting, but there's just been a lot going on, and with the weather, at the end of the day, that's what we're asking for, is maybe 6 months to get this done.
Okay, so the first order of business, without objection from anyone else on the board, we find that the conditions do exist. And so that's where we're going to proceed from. And then you have given us a time frame. And so I'm going to go back to Mr. Vanover on the time you're saying you need 6 months to abate the violations. So, Mr. Vanover?
Mr. Chairman, we think that 6 months is a long period of time. This there was already been this notice of violation notice was issued in November, so we're already 6 months later. We would not object to 90 days. I think that with the correct will, that this could be completed in 90 days.
Okay, Mr. Levine. So you've heard from the city.
I understand.
Okay, so I'm going to go back over to Miss Lazar for comment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gallagher. I just wanted to add the comments that since ownership changed at this building, Mr. Levine has been in communication with the council office. We reached out and he has freely shared information, updates, and to the statement that he made regarding the prior nuisance and disruptions by the tenants who were there, they did remove those. I watch this property and I watch the brevity reports daily, and this property is not on those brevity reports any longer, which is a huge relief to the community. So these 18 units are being cleaned up, rehabbed, one at a time. And Mr. Levine has promised that these will stay as affordable housing units, which is very much needed in this section of the ward. Also, I was not aware of the extent of the violations. The council office was only aware of the parapet wall in the front of the building until this morning. I haven't seen the photos in the back showing the fire escapes and the damage to the wood structure, the integrity of those elements. When I spoke with Mr. Levine this morning, I stated that safety is our primary concern. And with 3 entrances to this building, is it possible to have the 7 units that are currently occupied to have the tenants use the doors to the west of the structure, at the westernmost doors of the structure, so that they can avoid the area that is most impacted by the failing masonry in the front of the building? And I would echo that for the rear of the building as well. Is there any way to limit access by the tenants to any of these elements that are of severe concern? We would very much be appreciative of that. We are asking that Building and Housing continue to work with Mr. Levine, and we see the fullest extent of the rehab. And if 90 days is given, we are in full support of that. So thank you.
Okay, so I think that looking at this, that if you do the back steps probably first so that they do have an egress that's safe, would be the fastest and I would think easiest way to abate that violation. Then you would have another access out of there, I assume. I'm not sure what the 3 areas are that they can get out from, but
Mr. Chairman,
go ahead.
Apologies for the interruption. Yeah, I would ask that I don't think it's appropriate in this venue to design the safeguards during construction process. I would ask that as part of any time given, that the appellant provide to the board and to myself their plan for safeguards during construction and their timeline for mitigation so that we can identify that it is safe for the existing tenants as it's being constructed, as opposed to, basically putting restrictions in this hearing that without all the information. I would ask that they supply that to us. And Mr. Began can do that.
Okay, all right, then that'll be in the motion to supply the way that you're going to do this and keep it safe for the tenants. So motion is in order to give 90 days to abate all the violations. Motion moved.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Maskey, second by Mr. Bradley.
Discussion?
Dates?
Yes,
We would ask for a specific date. Thank you.
yes, okay, July 26, 2023.
So,
Mr. Chairman, we would also ask that you include in the resolution that the violation notice was properly issued.
Yes, the violation notice was properly issued.
Mr. Bradley?
yes.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Okay, a notice will be sent within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, next docket. A 21622, 8000 Euclid Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is failure to register, issued on November 10th of 2022. Appeal statement received December 8th of 2022, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Patricia Aston Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
Mike Lynn, appearing on behalf of my parents, John and Barbara Lynn, who are the owners of the property at 8000 Euclid Avenue.
Okay, Mr. Lynn, and anyone else that may be given testimony during this solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
We do, yes.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and proceed to let us know what your plans are.
Well, we received the notice of violation for structural deficiency for a belt tower at 8000 Euclid Avenue. The tower used to be attached to a Catholic church, and it's freestanding now. It's approximately, I guess, maybe 200 feet tall. Stone construction. It's not accessible from the first floor. My parents have owned that tower for close to 50 years, I believe, and have not received any notices or anything. I don't know if the structure was on the city rolls beforehand or not. But once we received the notice of violation, we engaged a local engineering firm, Barber and Hoffman, to do the inspection, and they were not able to certify that the structure was safe in its current condition. So we notified the tenant of the property, which is a CVS pharmacy, and to let them know what we were doing. And they have assumed responsibility for the project since they self-insure. They want to take care of it and have engaged Barber and Hoffman directly. Although we are staying in the loop to make sure that the repairs get done. So just so you know who all the players here are. Barber and Hoffman have engaged a contracting firm with a lift to go up to the top of the tower. There's no way to access the tower from the ground floor on the interior. And the interior steps that used to exist in there, wood steps, have since fallen away. So there's no way to get up there without a lift. And so they've got a lift engaged to come out, but apparently the ground is soft around the tower right now. So the owner of the lift is not going to go in there until the land firms up a little bit. Once they go up there and look at it, Barbara and Hoffman has been directed to create the drawings and to conduct any of the repair that needs to be made.
Okay, what about this failure to register?
That building has never been registered for whatever reason, but I think we registered it, or we did whatever we needed to do to respond to that first notice.
Okay, let's go over to Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, the violation notice that's under appeal is a failure to register. It's a 6-year-old ordinance with the city of Cleveland that requires every substantial structure, which means that it's either 5 stories or 75 feet tall, to be registered, to have the facade registered and inspected. Barbara Hoffman is a reputable firm. They've done many of these registrations in over the course of this program. So it does, as of 3/15/2023, the facade has been registered for this tower. So we have that registration, and the violation notice, that's what it was for. We do encourage and recommend that the repairs get made because that influences the status of the registration. But at this time, I believe that the notice of violation has been satisfied and that the registration has been complied with. However, it was registered as an unsafe structure, so the repairs are required to keep from getting another notice of violation from the city for an unsafe structure. All that being said, the violation notice issued and the violation notice that's under appeal today has been satisfied. So we don't object to granting time until today for the abatement of the violation, understanding that the violation notice, the requirements of the violation notice have been satisfied.
Okay, so motion is in order to grant till today, which is the 26th of April, 2023, to abate the violation. Motion is in order. So moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Mr. Dank.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Maschke?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Okay, you'll get notification within 2 weeks on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next docket is A123, 14335 Lorraine Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance, issued December 8th of 2022. Appeal statement received January 5th of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Patricia Aston Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
Good morning, Joe Strake, attorney for Appellant Wolf Pintus Lorraine LLC.
Okay, all those giving testimony, Mr. Straight, have solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. All right, go
Mr.
ahead, Mr.
Chairman?
Straight. What's that?
Preliminary, it does cite to smoke detectors. I wanted to bring that to the board's attention.
Okay,
Thank you.
you can address that. Okay, Mr. Straker, go ahead.
Good morning. Yes, here's what I can advise. We do need more time to address some of these matters. I can advise that this is interior and exterior. It's my understanding that the interior matters have been addressed during the winter season, including the smoke detectors. It's my understanding that's been taken care of. I'm not sure if the inspector's been out. If my clients had the inspector out, they certainly should have, but I'm not sure if that's happened. But the internal matters have been taken care of. The external matters, the outside matters, exterior matters, those are, all of them are either in the works or contractors have been retained to repair them. I know it's winter in Ohio. I've been through a lot of winters, and I know that things can be done, but they're more expensive and maybe more difficult to obtain contractors to do exterior work in the winter. is all the function of it. I'm not using it as an excuse, but it is much, much easier to find contractors to do these kind of repairs, especially in the warmer months, which we are now in. So we have made good faith. We have done all the interior matters. We're just asking for additional time to do the exterior matters. We have people lined up. If it please the members, we'd ask for 90 days to have a complete abatement and inspection of all of the violations.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, what is the time frame?
He's saying 90 days.
90 days? We don't object to 90 days, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so a motion is in order to grant 90 days to abate all the violations.
So moved.
Date, please. Date, Mr. Chairman, date, please.
Oh, the date. Yes, thank you very much. All right, we're back to July 26, 2023. Go ahead, Mr. Dank. Give the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Mr. Maskey.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent within 2 weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, members.
Next docket. A21122. And let's see, we got here 10205 Anderson Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is lead, issued on November 22nd of 2022. Appeal was received December 16th of 2022, requesting for more time. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Patricia Aston Law. Would the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record?
My name is Veronica Harris. I'm the owner of the property of 10205 Anderson. It's a rental property.
Okay, Miss Harris, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I affirm.
Okay, let us know. I think this is a violation of lead, so go ahead and let us know what's going on there.
Well, it's not actually, it passed the clearance. All the work has been done on it. It was a grant program through the CHN Housing. I first initiated the work on June 28, 2021. We didn't get a contractor out from the corporation until March of 2022 when the work has started. The initial assessment was paid through the agency, and I never got a clearance report myself so that I could send it in. And so it was delayed after I called several times that I didn't receive the information. I also have a second property that I did get the email with the copy of the clearance report, and that was filed properly. So I couldn't make application. And so application was beyond the 90 days. So I was asking for lead certification on this property.
Okay, Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, who conducted the inspection?
The CHN Housing hired Hunter. Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong. Everything was done through the CHN Housing. They chose the inspectors. They did all the paperwork, and it was new to me. And so I was just following instruction. I believe I sent in a copy of the report, of the clearance report, when I filed the appeal.
Yes, so so by CHN, you mean Cleveland Housing Network?
Yes, the inspector was Teresa Bryant, license number LA007697. Also, when they initially did the inspection, her final inspection, she had to come back again because the contractor had to do more work, and none of the dates were ever changed on the documents. So the final work wasn't done until July, and still I didn't get a copy of the report.
And then so the report was submitted in November?
correct. I called, I finally got in touch with Morel at CHA Housing and repeatedly told her I had not received the report. And she sent in the report and I sent it in right away.
Okay, so
Matter of 14 days.
Mr. Chairman, just to put some understanding around what we're talking about. A lead risk assessment was completed, work was identified to be corrected, that work was corrected, and that requires a follow-up inspection. The lead safe ordinance in the city of Cleveland requires that every rental property provide the city with a lead safe certificate clearance. So there's a lead clearance that's required in order to own and rent rental property in the city. The work itself that is required is secondary to all of that. What the city ordinance requires is that a lead safe certificate or a lead safe report be submitted and then a lead safe certificate be issued based on that report. It appears that that has been complied with in this case. However, the ordinance also requires that the report be submitted to the city within 90 days of the clearance report, the clearance inspection being conducted. And that's to prevent, lead conditions change daily. And it's codified that way to prevent the aging of lead reports where an inspection is conducted at one time, and then there's a substantial period of time before it's registered. In this particular case, based on the appellant's testimony, this was conducted with by an agency that I'm going to use the term partners with the city, and I'm going to use the term partners very loosely, but it is an agency that is been positioned to assist in these matters. I do not have evidence or information on why or what caused the delay other than the appellant's testimony that from the time it was conducted to the time that the appellant received it, that there was a time delay. That's her testimony that was beyond that 90 days. The ordinance does not require the lead risk assessor or the inspector to provide that information to the city. It does require that the owner provide it. It appears that for whatever reason, from the time the inspection was conducted till the time it was submitted to the city, whether that be at the fault of the inspector, the inspection agency, or the owner, it did surpass that 90 days. What the board's being asked from the appellant is that to require the city to accept that report beyond the 90-day statutory period or not.
Okay. So it's a matter of her testimony as far as not being able to send it in because they weren't responding, even though she was trying to get them to. And so I really don't fault her. It sounds like she was doing her due diligence to get it done. And it was maybe somehow within the system, just not getting over and getting done. And so we have her testimony. Ms. Harris, you have your hand up?
Yes, I agree with that. It's just an error of omission. It can happen due to the sickness, vacations, and seeing that it took a year for them to even initiate the program shows the delay in responding to these, and it's new to them too as well.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to, though, for the record, Mr. Chairman, just restate that these agencies are not city agencies. It's a nonprofit agency that is working in the community. So when the evaluation that it's a breakdown in the system, it is not a city or a regulatory breakdown, but it's within the private and nonprofit sector.
Okay, that was good that you made that statement. It's not the fault of the city. I get that whoever the agency was is the one that was tripped up here, but it sounds like she was doing her part to make sure that it happened. I understand it went by your statutory 90-day part, but I think that because of her testimony, and I'll ask the other board members, I believe that we can accept this in her testimony as waiving that requirement, I guess is the way to say it. Mr. Dank?
I don't have any objection to that.
Okay. Mr. Maskey?
I concur.
Mr. Bradley?
I concur.
Okay, so.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question. Do properties have to be re-registered after the initial registration?
Mr. Chairman and Mr. Dank, the registration is valid for 2 years.
Okay, thank you.
Every 2 years, a new inspection is required to be conducted, and a new clearance is required to be submitted, and therefore a new registration will be issued.
This is Patty under the proviso that it's not meets the 20-year HUD standard. I think there's language about the 20-year federal standard to that.
There's a separate registration process that's not that grants a 20-year time period. That's
Thank you.
independent of what this is.
Okay.
Another registration, another statute, another standard.
Okay.
But
All right.
Mr. Chairman, that being said, based on where I believe the board's going to go in, we would ask that the ruling be to require that the city accept this report beyond its 90-day statutory timeframe for this particular property.
Okay, and that's the motion, is that we are requiring the city to accept this past the 90-day requirement, and only for this property only based on Ms. Harris's testimony. Motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Bradley, second by Mr. Maskey.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next docket is A 21222, which has been withdrawn. And the following docket, A 2114-22, has also been withdrawn.
Advance the slides, please. Yes.
What's it?
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Okay, housing docket A 21522, 3610 West 49th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is fire damage, issued on November 25th of 2022. Appeal received December 20th of 2022, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Patricia Aston Law. Would the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record?
That's me. My name is Paul Gregory.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Gregory, you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Chairman, you have Glenn Murray here. Did you want him to handle this going forward, or are you handling this?
I'm not sure I heard you, Ms. Aston.
I apologize, Mr. Chairman. We have Glenn Murray here. I was just asking Mr. Vanover if he'd like Mr. Murray to handle this matter and the rest going forward.
Yes, I would. I'm going to make my exit, and Mr. Murray can handle the last three cases.
Thank you, Mr. You will swear, Mr. Murray.
Okay, Mr. Murray, please solemnly swear to tell your truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Mr. Gregory, go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
Well, I'm a long-term homeowner of Cleveland. I've been 30 years. My plans are to I didn't have insurance, so I have to do a lot of the work by myself, and then I have to go work at my part-time job to make enough money to pay for what I can't get done by myself. So I'm gonna need a lot of time on this. I mean, 'cause I gotta, they rewired the second and third floor and some violations in the other things, electrical in the basement and things. And then hopefully we can, the burnt, the beams, hopefully I can sister those up and work from there. I mean, electrical is be the main part of my issues but after that, I think I can, with enough time, I can make this house, up to where it's supposed to be again.
Are you owner occupied
Yeah, yes, I am.
and you have one other unit, right?
Yes.
Okay, and is there someone in that unit?
No, it's
Okay.
it's just me in the first floor right now, basically.
Okay, got it. All right, Mr. Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, have you pulled any permits yet?
He asked if you pulled permits.
Yes, I did. I got electrical permit and a building permit.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, was the electrical permit for the meter base?
I told him, I went down there and told my lady electrical permit to rewire the second and third floor.
Okay.
Okay. How much time do you think you're gonna need? Let's get to that subject here.
I mean, I know everybody else was not getting much time, but I think I'm gonna need about 18 months. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna be 59 in June, so I mean, I'm gonna do the best I can every day to get everything done I can. I've started working on the windows and stuff like that I know how to do, and taking out all the trash that's in the pictures and stuff. But I'm gonna need I think about 18 months.
Okay, well, generally, we don't give that kind of time. We usually give like around 6 months, and if you're working on it, the inspector will work with you. If you're showing progress. The big thing is we don't want things stalled and not moving. But I'm going to go over to Mr. Murray to see what his comments are on that.
Mr. Chairman, I would ask for 6 months and then a check-in at that time. And I would also suggest maybe that the appellant focus on getting the shell and the envelope of the building finished. So at least it's not going to be an eyesore for the rest of the community as long as it's safe inside.
Okay, Mr. Gregory, so you've got pretty good weather here coming up. So the request is to make the outside look good, for the neighbors or whoever as they pass by, so it's not an eyesore. Do you see that as a problem?
No, that's very fair. I can do that.
Okay, so we're going to ask, that you get, we're going to give you 6 months to abate the violations. That would be to August 26th, 2023 to abate all violations. Motion so in order.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I think that might be October,
What did I say?
August.
It is August. No, it is October. October 26th, 2023. Sorry about that. Motion. Okay, motion by Mr. Dank.
Second.
Okay, second by Mr. Maskey. Mr. Gregory, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I can't get all the violations, everything rewired and everything, but you're saying make it look presentable in 6 months, and then I get some more time to keep working on it.
Yeah, if you're working on it with the inspector and you make
Right.
sure you get it inspected as you go along,
Okay.
getting more time, I don't think is going to be a problem as long as you continue to work on it. You can always come back to the board also. So that's what this is about.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman. That was what I was gonna say, is that if he's unsure about it, he can always come in back to this board and ask for this board to extend time, but so long as it's not past that October 26th date. If
Right.
he needs it.
Come ahead of time. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Ms. Davis,
Miss-
call the roll.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out to you within 2 weeks. Thank you, Mr. Gregory.
Thank you.
Okay, next docket is A20, A22322, 1214 East 74th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance issued on December 22nd of 2022. Appeal statement received January 4th of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Glenn Murray, Building and Housing, Patricia Aston Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
Rasheen Ali.
Okay, Mr. Ali, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I affirm.
Okay, let us know what your plans are.
Yes, it's a rental property. I did pull a permit for the garage, and the garage is now down. The floor has been updated. And you know, I had, you know, the reason why I had to got the extension for the first off is I had surgery December the 14th. I had a rotator cuff surgery, so I was out of work. I really couldn't move, and I'm still in rehab now as we speak. But I'm slowly getting things back, you know, back to going. But I should have everything complete within 90 days.
Mr. Murray.
If you guys grant me that.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, is the building currently occupied with a tenant?
Yes.
Okay. And are you having any difficulties accessing it with the tenant?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I would have no objections.
Okay, motion is in order to grant 90 days to complete the violations. That would be July 26, 2023. Motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Maskey.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dink.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next docket, A322, 1074 East 79th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance issued December 19th of 2022. Appeal statement received January 5th of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violation. Present for the hearing, Glenn Murray, Building and Housing, Patricia Aston Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
Brianna Bryce.
Okay, Ms. Bryce, you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
Okay. So for this house, I'm redoing the entire thing, so like there is no tenants there anymore. I'm doing the upstairs and the downstairs, and we started on the downstairs because I was already starting on that before she was completely out. And so I am finishing up the floors this week. And so about next week or in 2 weeks, I should start upstairs, and I have to get people to come out to do the outside exterior. Because I tried to call before, but they said wait till the weather is a little warmer to do the exterior. So for the outside, I'm not going to repaint it, but I'm going to do vinyl. And then I still have to get the front stair fixed.
Okay. Did you pull permits?
So I came down the other day to get, not the other day, what was it, like last week, to get some permits to do everything. I think I just have to get electrical for upstairs. Because I had an electrical, but that was for downstairs before she even did the violation.
Okay, so you said that you did pull some of the permits?
Yeah, I think last week. I was up there last week.
Okay, Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, have you cleaned cleaned the property. There's some notes here about debris and stuff being on the property. Has that been taken care of?
Yes, but I do have more, and they're going to come out Friday to get the stuff that we just put out there.
And Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, so you submitted for the permits. Did you actually pull the permits, or are they currently under review?
Oh, like as far as like for the people that are going to do it?
Are you doing the work yourself, or do you have general contractors?
No,
working?
I'm looking for a contractor for upstairs. Like the downstairs, they told me that I didn't really need a permit because I'm just doing painting. Downstairs was just getting painted. So I decided I didn't need a permit for that. But for the upstairs, yeah, I still have to get the permit pulled for the electrical and plumbing.
Okay, and if you mentioned earlier that you wanted to reside the building, if you decide you want to do that, it will need to be a contractor, and you will need to pull permit to do that.
Okay.
Okay, how much time do you think you need?
I don't know. I would say like 90 to 120 days.
Okay, Mr. Murray?
Mr. Chairman, I would set a date to get the electrical and I think plumbing permit that she mentioned. And I would say 90 days. Yeah, it's not 120 days isn't unreasonable, but we would like to see the required permits pulled.
Okay.
Okay, so motion is in order to give you till August 26th, 120 days, 2023 to abate all the violations.
Okay.
Motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Maskey, second by Mr. Bradley.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out to you within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
That was the end, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll move on to resolutions. Dockets A 11022, A 13822, 15122, 15322, 15622, 20522, 20922, 20222, and 8223. Motion?
So move.
Okay. Moved by Mr. Bradley, second by Mr. Maskey.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Okay, we have the approval of minutes. Are there any additions and corrections for April 12th, 2023?
No.
Okay, motion?
Motion for approval.
Okay, motion by Mr. Maskey, second by Mr. Dink.
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes. Is there any further business?
No.
Okay, meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
All right, have a great week.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Good week, everyone.
Look, you haven't laid the name down there.